Hello, my name is Guadalupe Castillo, and today we will be talking about the Russification enforcement in its early beginnings and the current geopolitical climate. Russification is a form of cultural assimilation process during which non-Russian communities, whether voluntarily or not, give up their culture and language in favor of the Russian established one. Demographic resettlement policies pursued by the central planners of the Soviet Empire between 1922 and 1992 were also part of the forced assimilation. Once formerly known as Tsar Russia in its early development, they expanded in the 19th century through the imperialist ideology of power through land acquisition. At the peak of their power, there were over 100 nationalities. After the murder of former reformist Tsar leader Alexander II, his son Alexander III took over. He despised the idea of Western culture, ideas, and liberalist reforms, and rather believed that Russia had lost its dominating influence over Eastern Europe. Because of this, he believed that the only way to regain its position of power was by implementing natural pride of every Russian patriot, which included only one nationality, language, religion, and form of administration. The February Manifesto of 1899 is a prime example of Russification. The decree asserted the right of the Tsarist government to rule Finland without consulting its governing body, thereby diminishing their political influence. Finnish citizens protested and founded a petition called the Great Address, with more than 500,000 signatures. It, however, was ignored and further Russification through the Language Manifesto of 1900, which was aimed at making Russian the main administrative language of the government. It enforced the use of Russian in all government offices, documents, and schools. The first era of Russification came to an end at the outbreak of the Russian Revolution. It became extremely difficult to organize a drastically diverse amount of communities into one empire's framework. Russia's vast land possessions made it even more difficult to communicate the needs of these communities as they were all dispersed throughout the country. This led to the creation of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR, or Soviet Union. The realm was eventually divided into 15 Soviet Socialist republics, led by Vladimir Lenin, each formed to correspond broadly to one of the major nationalities. Russification of the Soviet Empire produced substantial ethnic Russian minorities in each of the 14 other republics. Russians came to these republics to teach, to organize the local Communist Party, implement the capital city, Moscow's economic decisions. Their two major objectives were accelerating industrialization and collectivizing agriculture. Their imposed command economy, in which state planners assigned production of particular places, often disregarding the basic rules of economic geography. This policy made manufacturing extremely expensive because although production of materials could be made for cheaper at different, more efficient locations, policy would not allow for it. As a result, on December 25, 1991, the Soviet Union dissolved. Russification had backfired, fueling the drive for independence amongst most of the people who had been forcibly incorporated into the USSR. An estimated 30 to 60 million people lost their lives through imposed starvation, constant political purges, and/or forced relocation. Formally, the Russian Empire is ruled by Vladimir Putin, who has brought renewed fire at efforts of Russification, most notably the current political entanglement with the United States election and its annexation of Crimea.